talking about the 50-50 lawsuit coming from my own personal experience because I've had the exact same thing happen where I went through a big lawsuit with the K-pop agency and actually only ended not that long ago. Actually, a lot of K-pop singers probably went through something very similar, so it's nothing new. I am the perfect person to ask about K-pop lawsuits again because I've gone through it. I know the details and what the girls might be going through and what the company side might be. And I know I look a little crazy, but I'm getting ready to go to a winery in the Hamptons, so I'm gonna be getting glammed up while talking about this. By the way, my foundation I'm gonna be using is a sample from TRUECRIME Aesthetic BB Cream. This is a skincare BB cream with SPF. I'm gonna be out all day, so if you want a skincare BB cream, this one is really good. So here's a breakdown of how 50-50 is contracted. It's a little bit confusing. So 50-50 is contracted to a K-pop agency or entertainment called Attrakt. So this is basically like Blackpink being contracted to YG. This is their main company. This is the company that invests. It handles their training, promotions, commercials, money, dorms, like lessons, pretty much everything. This is their main house. But the company Attrakt, the CEO decided to work with a producing label called The Givers. And sometimes the company will have in-house producers, so producers that solely work for Attrakt. But these days, a lot of companies do use outsourced producers. But in this case, they put the trust of 50-50's music to The Givers producers. So in comparison, it's kind of like the Blackpink's music being made by Teddy, who owns like the Black label. Kind of like a simple breakdown like that. But now there's also a distribution company that 50-50 was signed to, which is what a lot of agencies do these days. And they were signed to Warner Music Korea as their distribution company. And Cupid was their second single that they released. I think the first one was a different song. Of course, almost right away, only in their second single album, 50-50 did amazing. Right now, it's on the global Billboard charts. Now the song was, I believe, written by a Swedish producer, and the Givers producer side has bought the song for about $9,000 or something like that from them, like a total buyout of the song. Now reaching the Billboard charts, even for big companies, like you have to be like Blackpink level, that took years. So someone like 50-50 from a small company to reach that level was like huge. This was like winning a lottery ticket. I've been in small companies before that was not well known, and I know how hard it is. Like it's hard for small companies to even get a little bit of promotion or a little bit of like chance or opportunity for their singers because there's so many people out there that you have to spend either a lot of money back end promotions and like persuading a lot of people or know a lot of networking and people around the industry to get that opportunity, or you just have to rely on luck. So anyway, fast forward to June 28th, the 4 members of 50-50 in the peak of their careers suddenly announced that they will be filing a lawsuit against their agency, Attrakt. And it seems like they have bashed the CEO, claiming that he was not properly taking care of the members. For the shadow, I got my hands on the Napping Cheese palette. I always wanted this one. It is so cute. So what a lot of artists do, because you're technically contracted and you cannot promote until technically like the court rules that you've won or you're lost. So there's something called the 가처분 신청 or the 가처분 lawsuit, which is basically asking the court to temporarily stop their contract. Now, artists must do this because then like lawsuits could take 2-3 years and you can't do anything. You can't do entertainment promotions at all or sign with another agency. So you do want to temporarily stop the contract. Now, personally, I did not know this because I was pretty much fighting this alone with a lawyer and I had no idea what I was doing. So I did not get to personally file 가처분 신청, but this is what a lot of artists do. And after that, they're probably gonna have a hearing to actually get out of the contract fully. By the way, I'm wearing my beautiful corset here. I found a website called Lacemade that makes all these beautiful pieces pretty affordable. I'll put in a shot of one of the dresses that I got from Lacemade that I'm gonna be wearing to the winery. It is so beautiful. They have these amazing pieces that you cannot find personally on any other websites. It's also great quality. So if you're trying to look for beautiful pieces to wear to your picnic, to wineries, and to spend a beautiful summer out in nature, check out Lacemade. I love their items. You cannot find any other pieces like these. It is soft, it is feminine. You will be making heads turn with these kind of traditional cottage core kind of style. These dresses are making this year's summer a highlight. Now, this is what the 50-50 members are claiming. Attrakt has provided no clear transparency of financial statements and payments, which is one of the biggest or main reasons that pretty much all singers and agencies fight about. Number 2, that they forced the members to work while they were recovering, or that they announced health issue statements to the public without the members' knowledge or consent. And 3, that they had not enough support or promotions for the team. Now, the Attrakt CEO, the agency side, they're saying that they believe that there is a third party, a force behind the scenes of the 50/50 girls, persuading them and pretty much like bad-mouthing, gossiping, whatever you want to call it, to pretty much steal the girls and sell them to a third party. It seems like, according to Attrakt, again, these are all alleged and according, it seems like the givers, the producers of 50/50, allegedly steal, aka sell the girls to Warner Music Korea. And now in this recording, Warner Music is talking to Attrakt's CEO saying, hey, we suggested to your producers that we might want to buy out 50/50 for about $15 to $18 million. And then the agency CEO is like, wait, what? Like, I've never heard of that. What are you talking about? So we don't know the entire background of the fight, the arguments that happened behind the scenes. All we know is what everybody is alleging. But what it seems like to everybody is that the givers, producer, CEO, and the Attrakt CEO had some kind of bad blood that happened between them. And it seems like the givers maybe felt like they were responsible. They were credited for 50/50 success, and feel like maybe the agency CEO was pulling back, or felt like the girls' agency could not handle the success of 50/50, and maybe felt like the agency was like going to mess up everything, like the lottery ticket that they won, that they were not able to, you know, live up to the hype or the success that they've seen. So the Attrakt CEO is claiming that either Warner Brothers, the givers, the producers, someone behind the scene has been, again, bad-mouthing to 50/50 about their agency. And because the girls are so young, I mean, they're like 18 to 20 years old. Although they're legally adults, they have zero business past experiences. And that's why it was so easy for them to listen to someone, listen to one side and be like, oh, you're right. Like, our agency cannot live up to our success. There's not enough promotions or things that we're doing enough compared to the success we've seen. We're just going to go downhill from now. Like, we need to get out of the contract now so that we can ride the success of Cupid and continue growing. Maybe they felt like their agency was going to hold back on their success because they weren't as experienced or as big as company like Warner Brothers, and they felt like their success was due to the producers and their distribution side rather than their agency. Again, this is all alleged, but I believe this is what kind of the girls kind of felt. And I know this because it happened to me, it happened to a lot of people in this industry, where there's always a dilemma, argument, something between maybe the producers, maybe the staff members, they don't like the CEO, and they start talking They start talking about bad stuff to the trainees or to the singers. And we listen to all of that and it gets us anxiety. There was one time where like producers would hate the company CEO or whatever staff members that was in charge, and they would spill the beans about what was going behind the scenes. And they'll be like, oh, you girl group or you singers are ruined because your CEO is not capable. They're taking you to the wrong direction. They're lying to you about this. They have zero plans for you guys. And then we're now listening to this and we're like, like, what do I do? Do I now get out of the contract? Like, I don't know what to do. So that happened to me so many times where I was constantly listening to other people's sides and rumors and feelings and emotions about each other. I was in the middle of not knowing what to do, but I wanted to protect my success and my career path. But on top of that, of course, because 50/50 members saw such a big success that there was no way they were gonna risk doing nothing for a couple years or risk the success being just a one-hit wonder. Now, according to Attrakt CEO, he claims that he has spent about a little less than $8 million to create 50/50 from their training point. So from their dorm rooms, their training days, their one-on-one lessons, which is pretty rare for a rookie group to get one-on-one lessons. That's like pretty luxury. Apparently the company also provided them with a luxury apartment that, again, rookie artists and small companies cannot afford and should not afford in the beginning. Allegedly, they were living in 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment in Gangnam, which is pretty luxurious. And that the CEO apparently sold his Rolex watch, that he used his mother's life savings, and that the $7-8 million that he spent on this girl group was solely on his own. That he sold everything and he gave his life to create this group, and now everybody's leaving him and it seems like a backstab. Now this part, you really have to go to court and see the evidence because in lawsuits like this, people will claim the biggest amount that they can think of. Not saying that this is true or not true, But I'm saying when it comes to money, you really have to go to court and see the evidence. For example, if you're building Google and you had all these staffs and it seems like these staff are trying to leave your company, you cannot blame and put all the amount that you invested into Google into your investment into the staff members, because you put the investment into also building a company, not just the girl group. So that money should be separated, and that's why you have to go to court and see the actual evidence. But no one is denying that it is very, very, very expensive to create a girl group. And then the music videos, which could have cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, which it does add up a lot. Hair, makeup, networking, everything costs money, and probably the monthly cost was a lot. Now, a lot of people are shaming the girls because they believe that this was carefully planned, which it should be carefully planned because it's a lawsuit, and if you're trying to leave the company, you know, it should be carefully planned. But the problem was that I believe on the day or around the days that they filed for the lawsuit, the girls also filed for the rights of their names, their stage names, and the Korean name of 50/50. Well, 50/50 in English, I believe, is owned by Attrakt, the company, or copyrighted, but the Korean version, Pipati, and their own names are not, which could be a big deal because now you're trying to take the whole brand that was invested by company A, Attrakt, and you're just taking it to yourself and continuing on with the success. So what's going to happen to all the investments, the contract breaking, like what's going to happen to the company A that spent $7-8 million on you? Now let's talk about the terms that 50/50 are claiming. They're claiming that they were not transparent with the financials and the payments. Now, a lot of people are saying that, well, these girls were 18, 20 asking for financial statement. I'm asking for payments in such an early period of their debut. It's kind of unusual. Even me, when I debuted, I had my mind was not on payments. My mind was not on anything but doing well. I didn't know anything about the financial side. I didn't even know how much my company was spending. Like, you don't know anything about that. And you should. Not saying that you shouldn't, but some people are saying that there's no payment to be made because they spend so much money on the girls. But I personally don't think the girls are asking for payments. I think they, again, in my personal opinion, there was someone behind the scenes claiming, probably talking to them saying, hey, you should ask your CEO, your company, about how much money they're spending. Like, you might have a big success, but you might not able to have any payments or get anything out of it because your company might be spending more than they should be. Maybe they're spending money on not you guys and other things, and they're gonna ask you to pay all that back. Maybe that is what they felt, that the company was not being transparent about their finances. But again, this is something that me being, having that agency problem as well, I've only knew this like at least 2 years into it. Like, I had to be with this company and see a lot of bad blood in order to know. But for them, it seems pretty early on that they've asked for this, which again is so common in these K-pop lawsuits. The number one thing that they will fight about is about financial statements, because that is a big clause on the K-pop contract that the company should be able to provide financial statements. So how much they've spent, how much is a minus and plus, the payments and stuff like that to the girls when they ask for it. But most companies do not properly take care of the finances. I mean, there are just so many things going in and out. So many things that people are trying to hide. Nobody is 100% clean. And to the girls, it should be done in a clean way so that they can have this trust to the company. But to the company, they might feel that they've been backstabbed because it's like, oh, now you saw success and now you're suddenly talking about money and finances. What happened to our good times? What happened to us kind of like supporting each other? And in terms of 50/50 not seeing enough promotions, maybe they felt like, hey, our song did so well. Like, where's the commercials? Where's like all these other opportunities? Because it does seem like 50/50 compared to their success, you're not really seeing the actual members in variety shows and commercials. Maybe I'm not like the biggest fan, so I don't know. Maybe they've been on other commercials, or maybe they have things lined up, or maybe they felt like their agency, again, was not able to match up to their success, that they were not able to bring in a lot of these opportunities compared to how well they were doing. Because that definitely was my concern as well when I was with agencies, where I felt like, I've seen a little bit of success here, but like, where's the opportunities? And when you're going through something like this and you have no work compared to the success that you've seen, the little to or big success that you've seen, you start to resent your company. You start to resent the people that are responsible of bringing you that. And you're like, hello, like, what am I doing? And the days feel so long. To us fans who are just watching this, maybe 2 months seems like a short time frame, but to the artists, it will seem like forever. When it comes to K-pop contract lawsuits, someone has told me that it is almost exact to divorce lawsuits, how the court treats it. It's mostly he said, she said. I mean, how are you going to prove that there was not enough promotions from the group side when the company is claiming that they've spent millions of dollars on you? While the artist is trying to prove that, hey, like compared to her success, like the CEO had no network. The CEO could not bring us as much opportunities. It's not really cookie cut when it comes to these stuff. It's about your own perspective. So that's why they treat it almost like a divorce filing. But my personal opinion, although they're claiming that there was no outside force telling them to file this lawsuit, I personally say, was there really not? Because in my personal experience, the mental trauma of just like, maybe, am I gonna go through a lawsuit? Like, what the hell? Like, this is such a big deal. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of scariness. Like, especially for these girls, you're at your peak of success and you feel like you might ruin all of this. So thinking of filing a lawsuit can take months, like in your head. It is such a hard thing for 18 to 20-year-old girls to decide to do. It took me such a hard trauma and such a hard time to even think about going to a lawsuit. So the fact that these girls decided to do this on their own seems, you know. But I do want to emphasize that, again, most companies did not do the financial reports or statements properly. At least in my personal experience, some companies will pretend they will add on all these stuff that claiming that they use to promote you or to build you up, when in the financial reports it was a little shady. Like, wait, this was not for me. Well, I don't know this people. Like, why were you spending money on this? Now they're claiming that I have to pay all this back. So when it comes to money, it's very sensitive. It is a long process, and who knows how long this will take. And don't forget to do your under eye at Yesstyle. I'm using like an Yesstyle maker. This makes it so easy. Did the quick success of Cupid bring also consequences? One thing for sure that I know is that both sides are probably in one of the toughest times that they can ever be at the moment, because that is how I felt. I thought my world was crumbling. Like, this was a dream, being a singer, something that I've worked on for such a long time, and to have this kind of battle with your own agency, it broke me down emotionally, physically, mentally. I was not in the right place, so I cannot imagine what all sides are going through. It's pretty much like a divorce, and I don't want to jump into conclusions until we have the evidence and whatever they present to court, because I know how easily it can be to manipulate not only the media but to court. Will 50-50 be able to make a quick comeback even on their own? Some people are saying there's a chance that they might get back with Attrakt if the court says that they cannot separate from the company. So the 가처분 신청, where they're asking for a temporary termination of the contract, if that is not ruled in the favor of the group, they have to stay with their current agency, Attrakt. But once you have a bad blood with someone, I mean, how is it possible to come back and have a joyous reunion and have this like fighting? It seems like the foreign fans are not really aware of what's going on or think of this as a big deal, but it is a huge deal in Korea, because in the K-pop system, pretty much one agency rules the entire group. It's not like America, where you have different managers and you have different agencies for different sections, for podcasts, for singing, for music, distribution, acting. Now, if you want to know the details of the K-pop contract and read it with me, in the past I have made the K-pop contract video where we read the K-pop contract together, because it is available publicly online. I've signed one in the past. I've had lawsuits about it in the past, so I am pretty, you know, well knowledge in this K-pop contract world. By the way, it was so hard talking and doing makeup at the same time, so here is my full Winery Hamptons glam that I have on. This is my beautiful sundress from Lacemade. Again, they have such great pieces for the summer, you guys. Remember to like this video if you want to see more of these kind of content, especially the business and the contract side. It really helps me to say, hey, you guys like this video? Let me create more. I'm also going to be answering your questions in the comments, so leave them below, and see you in my next video.